right, well, have you heard of Ning? It may not be as big as Facebook or MySpace, but some experts say right now Ning may be the most exciting thing in social networking. Now, instead of creating one giant network like Facebook, Ning allows users to create their own mini communities, and plenty of people have. In the 2 years since its full launch, Ning has attracted 22 million registered users. The creator of Ning, Gina Bianchini, joins us now live. Gina, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So Gina, we want to offer you congratulations because you have just passed a major milestone as the 1 millionth network was set up on Ning. So tell us, what kind of networks do people create?
So Ning is a way that lets people create and discover new social networks for their interests and passions. And amongst the million social networks that have been created on Ning to this point, there are tens of thousands of different unique interests and passions that people have been creating social networks and discovering new social networks and making new friends around those interests and passions. So we have everything from moms who love to Twitter, to people who love ninjas on Ask a Ninja, to people affected by diabetes at 2Diabetes, and wind energy advocates at the Pickens plant. So we're seeing people create and discover and make new friends around their interests and passions in totally unique and interesting ways to date.
Now, you say that Ning could do for social networking what cable did for TV. What do you mean by that?
Well, what we fundamentally believe is that when you give people the ability to connect with each other around their interests and passions, that the world is a more interesting and colorful and passionate place. And certainly when you look at the diversity that is on cable today versus what was possible 20 years ago or 30 years ago, just with 3 broadcast television networks, the possibilities are truly endless. And then when you take that into the internet, where there is a possibility for people to create millions of different, unique social networks around their interests and passions and make new friends around their interests and passions, we think that the world is just a better place to be in. So if you look at social networking today, what's really interesting is you have different companies and different social networking technologies that are enabling people to connect in different ways. So, for example, you have Facebook, which is fantastic for enabling people to connect with those people they already know. Or Twitter, which is phenomenal for news and real-time events. What we're seeing with Ning is that people are not only discovering and joining new social networks around their interests and passions, but they're making new friends around those interests and passions.
And you don't actually have to just stick to one, right? You can connect from Ning to Facebook, for example.
Absolutely. And so certainly there is no decision to choose between Facebook or Twitter or one of the million social networks on Ning. What we think is that, social networking is still so early, and the ways people want to connect with each other is endless.
Now, you actually decided to ban adult social networks a little while ago. Why did you decide to take that stance? Interesting, recently in the news, we've had the problems with Craigslist and what's being called as the Craigslist killings.
Yeah, so we made the decision to no longer support adult social networks on Ning, primarily because they were requiring a lot more intensive work by our legal team, and we made the decision, if we had a choice between hiring more lawyers or hiring more engineers that then can result in people being able to take advantage of more new features and more great stuff within their social network, that made sense as a decision for the company.
Okay, all right. So you pointed out that this is for people who are looking to meet others who have similar interests, but from a business standpoint, how helpful can a Ning network be?
So the way that we make money is through both contextual advertising as well as we sell premium services to our network creators. That can be everything from taking our ads off or running your own ads or using your own domain name.
So when you're talking about running your own ads and using your own domain name, for a company using Ning, they get certain advantages. Why is it an effective tool for them?
Right. So when you basically buy our premium services, you can turn your social network on Ning into your own business. You can run your own ads. You can have your own sponsors. You can enable transactions on your social network. So we've seen a fair number of our social networks on Ning being run today as businesses. So for example, on Twitter Moms, which again is a social network for moms who Twitter, there are ads related to being a mom, and there are other opportunities within social networks such as This Is 50, which is 50 Cent's social network that's really about the hip hop lifestyle, opportunities for him to connect brands and brand advertisers with his 500,000 people on This Is 50. So there's a lot of different ways that our network creators are turning their social networks today into businesses.
Well, obviously people are lapping it up because we know that every 30 seconds a new network is created on Ning. That's pretty impressive stuff. Gina, thank you very much for being with us.